You may not even know why you stopped here, but out of everything in this digital ocean, you paused at this specific moment for a reason. There is a timing to this encounter that your logic cannot yet measure, a silent intersection happening in the unseen realm that is far from ordinary. You may have been feeling a strange vibration lately, a buzzing in your spirit that the world tried to tell you was merely stress or chance. Don't rush past this just yet. Let this moment breathe for a few seconds, because the shift you have been waiting for has already begun. My beloved, you are standing at the threshold of a miracle, a place where the noise of the world begins to fade and the clarity of the infinite starts to take shape. You have carried a persistent restlessness, a feeling that you are waiting for a door to open. Yet every time you reach for the handle, the static of modern skepticism whispers that there is nothing on the other side. This static is the enemy of your peace, a loud and frantic frequency designed to keep you from noticing the quiet alignment currently moving toward your life. There is something about this specific hour that carries a weight you might not fully grasp yet. But as we continue, the architecture of this moment will begin to reveal itself to you. My child, you are not a random traveler lost in a chaotic universe. You are a sanctuary for the sacred, a vessel specifically prepared to hold the glory that is about to arrive. You may have felt a sense of anxious vibration in your chest, a feeling of being on edge without a visible cause. But I want you to understand that this is merely your spirit recognizing the proximity of the infinite. It is like the air becoming heavy before a rain that heals the parched earth. In a moment, this tension will begin to dissolve into a profound stillness, a silence so deep that you will finally be able to hear the instruction meant only for your ears. There is a mirror reflecting the future standing right before you, though it may currently look like a mist or a shadow. This symbol is not here to show you what you have lost, but to reveal the version of your life that has already been sanctioned in the heavens. You may be noticing how certain old desires are falling away, replaced by a singular, quiet focus that you cannot quite name. This is an awareness trigger, a sign that your identity is being recalibrated to match the destination you are fast approaching. Stay with this moment, for there is something deeper here than a simple message. There is a bridge being built between your current reality and your predestined purpose. My chosen, the world will tell you that everything is a coincidence, that your life is a series of accidents and luck, but your heart knows the truth. This modern skepticism is a mask for fear, a way to keep the soul from realizing how powerful and connected it truly is. You have felt this before, that sudden shiver of recognition when a name is mentioned or a song plays but you were taught to ignore it. Now, as you stand on this threshold, that ignored intuition is becoming your primary compass. If something within you resonates right now, you may already understand why you're here and why this specific frequency had to find you today. You have been moving through a season of delay that felt like a desert, but that desert was actually a chamber of reflection. In that place, you learned that you cannot force the infinite to move, but you can align yourself to be carried by its current. You might be knowing the emphatic need to control your outcomes is beginning to subside, replaced by a steady, grounded assurance. This is not the end of your journey, but the beginning of a movement where effort is replaced by flow. There is a reason you are hearing this now, and as we move forward, the why of your recent struggles will start to form a beautiful, coherent picture. My heir, look into the mirror of the future with eyes that are no longer clouded by the static of what-ifs and should-haves. This mirror does not demand perfection. It simply reflects the readiness of a soul that has finally decided to trust the process of its own unfolding. You are standing in a setting of unseen reflection, a quiet inner chamber where the blueprints of your next season are being laid out with precision. There is a micro-tension here, a sense that the next step is vital, yet there is no pressure to perform. You are being invited to simply exist in this space of becoming. If you feel supported here, you're always welcome to stay connected to this frequency, for this is only the first layer of the transformation. You may have felt like you were shouting into a void for a long time, but the void was actually an echo chamber preparing your voice for a new command. The shift has already happened. It happened the moment you chose to listen instead of scrolling, the moment you prioritized the soul over the static. Something is shifting, and while not everything is clear yet, the fog is thinning at the edges of your perception. My beloved, the anxious vibration that has kept you awake at night is being transmuted into a stillness that will become your greatest weapon. In this stillness, the skepticism of the world loses its power because truth does not need to shout to be real. You are beginning to recognize that your life is not a series of problems to be solved, but a sacred intersection where the divine meets the human. This realization is the key that unlocks the door at the threshold where you currently stand. Stay present with this sensation, for the next movement of this message will show you how to walk through that door without the weight of your past. This moment did not find you by accident, and it did not find you too late. It found you at the precise intersection of your readiness and your destiny, a point where the infinite can no longer be ignored. You are a sanctuary for the sacred, and as you hold this space, you will notice that the world around you begins to rearrange itself to match your inner quiet. Take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now, the softening of your shoulders, the deepening of your breath, the quiet yes of your spirit. This is the first step into a stillness that will rewrite your history and secure your future. There's a reason you're seeing this right now, a specific pulse in the universe that led you to this exact moment of stillness. You may not even know why you stopped here, but your spirit is responding to a frequency that bypasses the logic of your mind. Something is unfolding beneath this interaction, a subtle arrangement of timing that isn't as ordinary as it seems. Part of you already understands this, sensing a shift in the atmosphere before the words even reach your heart. So stay with this for a moment, and don't rush past the quiet pull you feel. My child, you have entered a silent corridor within your own spirit, a place where the echoes of the world's noise finally begin to fade. You may have felt this before, that strange, heavy silence that follows a long season of trying to fix everything by your own strength. For many nights, you may have found yourself awake at 3 in the morning, staring into the dark and wondering if you were truly being heard or if you were just talking to the shadows. This discomfort in the silence is not a sign of absence, but a sign of preparation, as the static of modern skepticism tries to convince you that if you aren't doing, you aren't becoming. My beloved, you have spent so much energy trying to justify your journey to people who were never meant to understand the destination. This relatability is an emotional mirror. You have felt the exhaustion of explaining your dreams to those who only speak the language of the mundane. You may be noticing now that the desire to prove yourself is beginning to wither, and in its place is a quiet, almost unsettling peace. There's something about this shift that connects to a deeper part of your identity, a realization that you are not a worker in a field, but a sanctuary for the sacred. In this silent corridor, I am placing a divine key into your hands, though it may not feel like metal or weight. This symbol represents the permission you have been waiting for, the permission to stop striving and start receiving. You may have carried a persistent anxiety, a vibration that feels like a motor that won't turn off, even when you are supposedly at rest. This micro-tension is simply the friction of your old habits rubbing against the new stillness that is trying to take root. Not everything is clear yet, and that is by design, for the miracle does not require your analysis, only your presence. My chosen, you may have sensed this before, a moment where the world seemed to hold its breath just for you. There is an open loop in your life right now, a question you have asked the heavens that hasn't yet received its full answer. In a moment, the significance of your recent delays will become clearer, but for now, you must honor the corridor you are walking through. If something within you resonates with this feeling of being between seasons, you may already understand why you're here. You are being moved from a state of searching into a state of recognizing, and that transition requires you to trust the silence. My heir, the static of skepticism would have you believe that you are falling behind, but in the infinite realm, there is no such thing as being late. You are not here randomly. You are here because your soul is craving a cosmic alignment that the world cannot provide. You might be noticing that certain conversations and environments that once felt comfortable now feel grating or shallow. This is a subtle, real-life moment of recognition. It is your spirit outgrowing the containers it used to occupy. Give this transition a little space, for the divine key you hold is meant to open the doors that your effort could never budge. You have often felt a hidden discomfort when things are too quiet, as if the lack of chaos means you are no longer making progress. This is the primary deception of the enemy's static, the lie that says your value is tied to your struggle. You are being invited to see your life as a mirror reflecting the future. But a mirror can only show a clear image when the surface is still. You may be noticing that as you allow yourself to be still, the images of what is coming are starting to sharpen at the edges. Stay with this moment, for there's something deeper here than just a pause. There is a recalibration of your very essence. My child, if you feel supported in this space, you are always welcome to stay connected to this frequency of peace. You are currently standing at the threshold of a miracle, and the bridge you are crossing is built of trust rather than evidence. You may have felt the heaviness of trying to carry the weight of your future on your own shoulders, but that weight was never yours to bear. The shift has already happened, and as you walk through this silent corridor, you will find that the doors are opening not because you pushed them, but because you became the person who holds the key. Part of your journey has involved a deep sense of loneliness, even when you were surrounded by people. This emotional recognition scene is familiar to those who are called to walk the path of the sacred. You realize that you don't have to explain your heart to everyone, and that realization brought a sharp discomfort before it brought clarity. God is using that very clarity to stabilize you now, ensuring that when the blessing arrives, you are not distracted by the opinions of the skeptics. You are becoming a person who can stand in the middle of a storm and feel nothing but the profound stillness of the infinite. My beloved, there is a reason you're hearing this now. At this specific point in your awakening, the micro-tension you feel is the final layer of your old identity falling away, making room for the sanctuary you were always meant to be. Do not blink, for the shift is manifesting in the small, unremarkable moments of your day. A phone call that arrives exactly when you thought of someone. A sense of calm during a situation that used to trigger you. These are the real markers of your alignment. Take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now. And if this resonated, simply allow that feeling to integrate without the need for words. As you continue down this silent corridor, remember that you are not walking into the unknown. You are walking into the predestined. Every step is guided. Every silence is filled with purpose, and every delay is a form of protection. You are being prepared to hold a weight of glory that would have crushed the version of you from a year ago. The mirror of the future is showing you a version of yourself that is whole, powerful, and at peace. Stay present with this vision, for the next chapter of this unfolding will reveal how the divine key unlocks the treasures hidden in the dark. There's a reason you're seeing this right now, as if the universe itself conspired to pull you away from the rush of the world and into this specific pocket of time. Out of everything you could have done today, you paused here because your spirit recognized a frequency that the mind has not yet translated into logic. This moment may not be as ordinary as it seems, for beneath the surface of these words, a long-standing delay in your life is beginning to dissolve into a new form of motion. You may have been feeling something you couldn't explain lately, a strange sense of being at a crossroads where the old paths no longer interest you and the new ones remain hidden. Just give this a little space for a second and let the atmosphere of this message settle around you, because you are not just watching a video. You are entering a still inner chamber where your destiny is being unsealed. My chosen, you have carried the weight of a long season of waiting, a delay that often felt more like a prison than a preparation. You may have felt this before, that agonizing sensation of being almost there, only to have the horizon recede just as you reached out to touch it. This is the emotional mirror of the seeker, the exhaustion that comes from trying to navigate a divine path using a human map. In this inner chamber of becoming, you are being invited to surrender that map, not because you are lost, but because the terrain you are entering has no roads yet. It is being created by your very presence, and in a moment, the reason for the recent silence from the heavens will become much clearer to you. My child, you are noticing a shift in your internal landscape, a subtle awareness trigger that tells you the vibration of anxiety is no longer your master. You might find yourself in a crowded room or a busy street, and suddenly, for no reason at all, a wave of profound stillness washes over you. This is not a random occurrence. It is your spirit practicing for the expansion that is about to take place in your physical reality. There is a sealed scroll lying on the table of this inner chamber, and it carries your name in a light that never fades. This symbol represents the blueprints of your existence that were drawn before you took your first breath, containing the answers to the questions you have been afraid to ask out loud. You are a sanctuary for the sacred, a holy ground where the infinite and the finite meet to create something entirely new. You may be noticing now that the things that used to bother you, the small irritations and the constant need for validation, have lost their grip on your heart. This connects to something deeper, a recalibration of your identity that moved you from being a person who survives to a person who thrives in the unknown. There is a micro-tension in this transition, a feeling that you are standing on the edge of a great height, but the air is supportive and the view is vast. You are not here randomly, and if this resonates within your chest, you may already understand that the delay was never a punishment, but a protection of your peace. My heir, the enemy you face is not a person or a circumstance, but the static of modern skepticism that tries to drown out the whisper of the divine. This skepticism is like a fog that settles over the mirror of your future, trying to convince you that what you cannot see does not exist. It tells you that your intuition is just a trick of the mind, and that your hope is a form of naivety. But in this still inner chamber, that fog is being burned away by the heat of a truth that does not need your defense. You may have noticed that when you stop trying to argue with the skeptics in your own mind, the clarity you've been seeking arrives without a sound. There is a subtle, real-life moment that many of my chosen experiences during this phase, a sudden realization while doing something as mundane as washing dishes or driving to work. You find yourself smiling at a thought you didn't even know you had, a sense of all is well that defies your current bank account or relationship status. This is the expansion beginning to manifest as an internal state before it anchors into your external world. God is not asking you to hurry toward your miracle. He is asking you to realize that you are currently standing inside the miracle's shadow. If you feel supported in this realization, you are always welcome to stay connected to this frequency, for there is much more to uncover. My beloved, stay with this moment a little longer, for there is something about the way your heart is softening that signals the end of a very old cycle. You are learning the art of surrender, which is not the act of giving up, but the act of letting go of the heavy burdens you were never meant to carry. You may have felt the struggle of trying to plan every detail of your next move, only to feel the plan slip through your fingers like sand. This was not a failure. It was the infinite inviting you to step into a rhythm that does not require your exhaustion to be valid. In a moment, this will lead us to a realization that connects your past disappointments to your future authority in a way you never imagined. In this unseen place of reflection, your soul is craving a cosmic alignment that has been written in the stars since the beginning. You may be noticing that you no longer have the energy for drama or for the frantic pursuit of things that do not nourish your essence. This is a sign of your maturity, a mark of the sanctuary you have become for the things that truly matter. There is a light inscription appearing on the walls of this inner chamber, words of affirmation that you have longed to hear but were looking for in the wrong places. These words are not for the world to see. They are for you to inhabit, to wear like a garment that shields you from the static of the skeptics. My child, the shift has already happened in the realm of the spirit, and your physical senses are simply catching up to the news. You may have been feeling a strange sense of excitement lately, a buzzing under your skin that feels like anticipation without a specific target. This is your spirit recognizing that the intersection with the infinite is no longer a future event, but a present reality. Do not blink, for the manifestations of this shift are appearing in the way people look at you, in the way doors are starting to creak open, and in the way the wind feels against your skin. This is the threshold of your miracle, and you are walking through it with a grace that you didn't even know you possessed. Take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now, in the quiet spaces between these sentences. If this resonated, if you felt a sudden warmth or a release of tension in your neck, Take that as a confirmation from the heavens that you are exactly where you are supposed to be. There is no rush to leave this inner chamber, for the stillness you find here will become the foundation of everything you build in the coming days. My beloved, the journey from delay to expansion is almost complete, and the clarity that is coming will be like a sun rising over a landscape you thought was permanently dark. Stay present, stay open, and let the infinite continue to weave its patterns through the fabric of your life. Something about this moment brought you here, even if your mind is trying to categorize it as just another video in your feed. There may be something unfolding beneath this that is larger than your current circumstances, a timing to this encounter that you haven't yet noticed. You may have sensed this before, a feeling that your life is a series of patterns waiting to be decoded. Don't rush past this just yet. Let this unfold for a second, because the shift you've been praying for has already happened while you were looking the other way. My child, you are standing at a quiet midnight threshold, a place where the day's burdens meet the night's possibilities. You have carried a weight that no one else can see, a heaviness of soul that has made even your rest feel like labor. You may have felt this before, the sensation of being caught between two worlds, unable to go back but unsure of how to move forward. There is an awareness trigger happening right now, as your spirit begins to recognize that this threshold is not a boundary, but an entrance. Don't blink. The shift happened the moment you allowed yourself to be still. My beloved, there is a glowing book resting in this space of reflection, its pages shimmering with a light that doesn't come from the sun. This symbol is a record of your predestined intersection with the infinite, a map of moments where my grace has stepped into your timeline. You may be noticing a strange pattern lately. Perhaps you've been waking up at the same time every night, as if someone was gently tapping you on the shoulder. This is a subtle, real-life moment of recognition, a sign that the heavens are trying to synchronize your rhythm with a much larger clock. In a moment, this will become clearer as we look at the specific chapter of your life that is being written right now. My chosen, you are not a mistake, nor are you a victim of random chance, despite what the static of modern skepticism tries to tell you. This skepticism is the enemy of your divine identity, a cold and clinical voice that reduces your miracles to coincidences and your prayers to wishful thinking. It creates an anxious vibration in your chest, a feeling that you must constantly justify your existence and your beliefs to a world that doesn't value them. But you are a sanctuary for the sacred, a holy place where the noise of the world is meant to die so that the truth can live. You may have felt like an outsider or the black sheep of your circle, but that isolation was actually a sanctification, a way to keep your sanctuary pure. There is something about this glowing book that connects to a specific dream you haven't mentioned to anyone in years, a quiet longing you buried because it felt too big for your reality. You may have noticed that this longing has recently begun to pulse again, a tiny micro-tension in your heart that refuses to be ignored. This is part of your cosmic alignment, a signal that the infinite is no longer far away, but is pressing against the fabric of your daily life. Not everything is clear yet, and the road ahead may still seem shrouded in mist, but there is a reason you are hearing this now. Stay with this moment, for there is something deeper here than just words on a screen. My heir, you are entering the phase of release, where the heaviness of your past is finally being transmuted into a profound stillness. This stillness is not empty. It is pregnant with the potential of everything you have yet to become. You may notice that you no longer feel the need to explain your path to those who haven't walked it. A beautiful emotional recognition of your own internal authority. This shift in your posture is what allows the intersection with the infinite to finally manifest in your physical world. If something within you resonates with this new sense of quiet power, you may already understand why you're here today. Let us look deeper into the static of modern skepticism and how it has attempted to interfere with your frequency. This enemy thrives on the not yet and the what if, weaving a web of doubt around the mirror reflecting your future. You may have experienced a real-life moment where you felt a surge of hope, only to have it immediately followed by a cynical thought that questioned your sanity. This is the anxious vibration of the collective mind, trying to pull you back into the safe limits of the mundane. But you were never meant for the mundane. You were meant for the miraculous, for the predestined moments that defy logic and demand faith. If you feel supported by this message, you're always welcome to stay connected, for your soul is craving this cosmic alignment more than it craves the approval of the world. There is a reason you've been feeling a sense of searching for so long. It was the infinite searching for you, waiting for you to stop at this specific midnight threshold. You are now being moved from a state of searching into a state of recognizing, where you see my hand in the small details of your day. This connects to something deeper, a hidden archive of blessings that have been waiting for your vibration to match their frequency. In a moment, this will lead us to a realization that will change how you view your current obstacles. My child, notice the subtle way your perspective is shifting even as we speak, as if the glowing book is being read directly into your spirit. You may have noticed that the people and situations that used to drain you are suddenly losing their power to affect your mood. This is a sign that your sanctuary is being fortified, that the sacred space within you is becoming too bright for the static to penetrate. This transition from heaviness to awareness is the most critical part of your journey, for it is where you stop being a passenger in your life and start becoming a co-creator with the divine. Don't rush past this feeling of release. Let it wash through every cell of your being. My beloved, as you stand at this threshold, understand that the mirror of your future is no longer reflecting a maybe, but a now. The anxious vibration that once defined your days is being replaced by a profound stillness that will serve as your greatest strength. You have survived the delay, you have endured the silence, and you have kept your sanctuary open despite the noise. This is the moment where the intersection happens, where the infinite steps into your timeline and rearranges it for your benefit. Take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now, and if this resonated, take it as a final sign of your alignment. As we close this chapter of our reflection, carry the stillness of this midnight threshold with you into your waking world. If this message brought you peace, you may already understand why you were led here, and why your soul is finally feeling a sense of homecoming. You are a sanctuary for the sacred, and the future you saw in the glowing book is nearer than your next breath. Take a deep breath and let the awareness of your own miracle settle into your heart. You are exactly where you need to be, and the shift you've been waiting for is already yours. Something about this moment brought you here, even if your logical mind is trying to tell you it's just another piece of content in an endless stream. There is a timing to this encounter that you may not have noticed yet, a silent orchestration happening between your heart and the infinite that defies simple explanation. You may have been feeling a pull towards something you can't yet name, a quiet nudge in your spirit that says there is more to your story than what you can see with your physical eyes. Don't rush past this just yet. Let this unfold for a second, because the shift has already happened, and you are currently standing at the threshold of a miracle. My child, you are entering an unseen place of reflection, far away from the static of modern skepticism that tries to tell you your dreams are mere delusions. This static is the enemy of your peace, a noisy interference that attempts to vibrate at a frequency of doubt and perpetual hurry. You are a sanctuary for the sacred, and within this sanctuary, the noise of the world is being silenced, so you can finally recognize your true self. You may have felt an anxious vibration in your spirit lately, a sense that you are running out of time, but that is merely the static trying to distract you from the profound stillness that is arriving. In the center of this unseen place of reflection lies a hidden archive, a repository of every prayer you have ever whispered and every tear you have shed in the dark. This symbol represents the divine memory that never fails, the archive where your predestined intersection with the infinite has been recorded since the beginning of time. You may have felt this before, the feeling that you are being watched over by something much larger than yourself, even when you felt most alone. This is an emotional mirror for the soul that has endured a long delay, a reminder that nothing you have experienced has ever been lost or forgotten. There is a micro-tension in the air today, a feeling that the seals on this hidden archive are about to be broken, specifically for you. Not everything is clear yet, and the exact details of what is inside may still feel hidden behind a veil of mystery that requires your patience. But there is something about this specific archive that connects to a promise you received long ago, one that you almost gave up on during the years of silence. In a moment, this connection will become clear as we explore how the delay was actually the catalyst for your expansion. You are not here randomly, and your presence in this space is the first sign that the archive is being unsealed. My beloved, you may be noticing a shift in your physical surroundings, a subtle, real-life moment where the things that used to feel heavy are suddenly starting to feel lighter. Perhaps a conversation that usually drains you went differently today, or maybe you found beauty in a place you previously overlooked without reason. These are awareness triggers, signals that your internal sanctuary is beginning to influence your external reality in ways you cannot yet explain. You are moving from a state of surrender where you stop fighting the current into a state of expansion, where the current begins to carry you toward your destiny. You are my chosen, and you were never meant to fit into the narrow boxes that the world tries to build for your spirit. If something within you resonates with this idea of being a sacred sanctuary, you may already understand why you're here, and why the static of skepticism could never truly claim you. This realization is the bridge that takes you from the anxious vibration of the world into the profound stillness of my presence. It is possible that you have spent years trying to be normal, only to realize that your true power lies in your divine abnormality. Stay with this moment, for there is a deeper alignment happening here than your mind can currently comprehend. The static of modern skepticism often presents itself as logic, telling you that if you cannot measure it or see it, it isn't real. This is the enemy's attempt to keep you from looking at the mirror reflecting your future, for that mirror shows things that human logic cannot explain. You may have noticed that when you lean into your intuition, the static becomes louder for a moment, trying to pull you back into the comfort of the known. But you are no longer a resident of the known. You are a pioneer of the infinite, and your courage to remain in this unseen place of reflection is what is breaking the static's hold. Imagine a moment where you finally stop trying to figure out the how and the when, and instead simply exist in the now of my grace. This is the moment of surrender that leads to the greatest expansion, a shift from being a seeker to being a recognizer of the truth. You might be noticing that your breath is becoming deeper and your mind is becoming quieter as these words settle into your spirit. This is a subtle, real-life moment of transformation, a physical manifestation of your soul craving cosmic alignment. In a moment, this peace will deepen, revealing the next step that has been waiting for you in the hidden archive. Stay with this moment, my heir, for there is something deeper here that is rearranging your very foundation. You are standing on the threshold of a miracle, and the doors of the hidden archive are beginning to swing open with a silent, majestic power. You may have felt like you were in a season of stagnation, but you were actually in a season of fortification, becoming strong enough to hold the expansion that is coming. Take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now, the quiet hum of alignment, the release of the need to hurry, the sense of being perfectly timed. Not everything is revealed at once, but the feeling of lightness in your chest is the first page of your new chapter. My beloved, as you prepare to move back into your day, carry this unseen place of reflection with you like a garment of light. The shift has happened, and the predestined intersection with the infinite is no longer a distant hope, but a present reality. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to notice the profound stillness that has settled in your heart. You are a sanctuary for the sacred, and the hidden archive of your life is being revealed one beautiful page at a time. If you feel supported here, you are always welcome to stay connected, for your expansion journey is only just beginning. Take a deep breath and acknowledge that you have already begun to walk through the gate of your miracle. Out of everything that crossed your path today, you paused here at this exact frequency for a reason. There's a timing to this encounter you may not have noticed, a hidden rhythm pulsating beneath the surface of your ordinary routine. You may have sensed this before, a quiet knowing that your path was curving toward a significant intersection, even when the road ahead looked straight and unremarkable. Just give this a little space to unfold and don't rush past this moment just yet. because you are currently standing in a still inner chamber of the spirit where the shift you have been seeking is already taking place. My heir, you have arrived at this place carrying a heaviness that has felt like a physical garment for far too long. This heaviness is the collection of every not yet, every unspoken disappointment, and every time the static of modern skepticism tried to convince you that your hope was a liability. This skepticism is a persistent enemy, a cold wind that tries to blow out the candle of your intuition by telling you that only what is visible is real. You are a sanctuary for the sacred, but for a season, the walls of that sanctuary have been covered in the soot of doubt and the dust of weary waiting. In this still inner chamber, I am showing you a burning seal that is currently being placed upon the record of your past struggles, a seal that does not just close a chapter, but consumes the weight of it entirely. My beloved, you may have felt this before, the sensation of being tired in a way that sleep cannot fix, a fatigue that reaches into the very marrow of your identity. This is the emotional mirror of a soul that has been fighting a battle against an invisible current for years. You have felt the pressure to manifest and achieve using the tools of a world that does not recognize your divine origin. And the result has been an anxious vibration that hums in the background of your every decision. But you are noticing something different now. A subtle awareness trigger that tells you the old ways of striving are no longer working because they were never meant for the person you are becoming. This connects to something deeper, a transition from heaviness into a clear, sharp awareness that you are no longer defined by the friction of your journey. There is a micro-tension in this room of reflection, a feeling that something is about to give way, like the moment before a dam breaks to let the water flow where it is needed most. Not everything is clear yet, and you may still feel the ghosts of your old anxieties trying to whisper their familiar warnings into your ear. But the burning seal is active, and its heat is the warmth of a predestined intersection with the infinite that is finally coming into view. You may be noticing that your reactions to old triggers are changing, that you are observing your life with a calm curiosity rather than a panicked need for resolution. This is the shift. This is the profound stillness beginning to settle over the areas where you once felt only chaos. My chosen, you are not here randomly, and this message did not find you early or late. It found you precisely as the seal began to burn. You might notice a small, real-life moment of confirmation soon, a letter, a message, or a sudden insight that provides the missing piece to a puzzle you had stopped trying to solve. This is the infinite reaching into your timeline to prove that the static of skepticism was always a lie. If something within you resonates with this idea of being unbound, you may already understand why you were led to this specific chamber of reflection. You are being moved from the heaviness of being a victim of circumstance into the awareness of being a vessel of grace. The enemy's static has spent a lifetime trying to convince you that you are a sanctuary for the mundane, that your life is merely a collection of biological functions and social obligations. It tries to obscure the mirror reflecting your future by smearing it with the failures of your past. But as the burning seal does its work, those smears are being erased, revealing a version of your destiny that is unburdened by the skepticism of the crowd. You may have felt a sense of discomfort in the quiet lately, a feeling that you should be doing more. But that discomfort is actually the birth pains of a new clarity. Stay with this moment, for there is a reason the silence has been so intense. It was the only way to prepare you for the roar of the miracle that is approaching. My child, take a moment to notice the feeling of your own presence, the way your breath moves in and out without your conscious effort. This is the same way the divine is moving in your life quietly, persistently, and with a life-sustaining power that does not require your permission to exist. You have spent years trying to breathe for the infinite, trying to make the miracles happen through sheer force of will. But the expansion you seek arrives through surrender, not through struggle. As the heaviness lifts, you will notice that your ability to perceive the sacred in the ordinary is sharpening. This is the release you have been craving. The moment where the vibration of anxiety finally gives way to the stillness of being. If you feel supported in this transition, you are always welcome to stay connected to this frequency, for the burning seal is only the beginning of the refining process. You are being prepared to walk through an open gate that was previously invisible to you because your eyes were too focused on the weight at your feet. There is an open loop in your current story, a situation that feels unresolved and messy. But in a moment, you will see how that very mess is the soil for your next great awakening. You are not just a person watching a video. You are a soul undergoing a cosmic alignment, a sanctuary being cleared of its clutter, so the sacred can finally take up its rightful residence. My beloved, stay with this feeling of awareness as it expands from your heart into your hands and feet. You may notice that the things you used to chase are now starting to drift toward you, drawn by the stillness you are cultivating. This is the law of the infinite, that what we are ready to hold will find us when we stop trying to hunt it down. The shift has happened, and the burning seal has ensured that the heaviness of the past can never follow you into this new landscape. Take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now, the lightness in your spirit that feels like a long-forgotten memory coming back to life. As we conclude this chapter of your becoming, walk forward with the knowledge that you are a sanctuary for the sacred, and the static of the world no longer has a place within your walls. The mirror of your future is showing you a path that is clear, bright, and perfectly timed. If this resonated with you, simply sit in the stillness for a few heartbeats and let the release integrate into your soul. You are my heir, and the intersection with the infinite that you have entered today is the beginning of a life lived in the profound stillness of my love. The seal is set, the heaviness is gone, and the awareness of your divine purpose is the only thing that remains. There's a timing to this you may not have noticed, a rhythmic alignment that brought you to this specific point in your journey today. Out of everything you could have seen, you paused here because your spirit recognized a frequency that the world's noise has tried to drown out for years. You may have been feeling something you couldn't explain lately, a quiet pull away from the familiar and toward an unseen horizon that feels both terrifying and holy. Just give this a little space for a second, and don't rush past this just yet, because the shift you've been seeking is no longer a future event, but a present reality unfolding right now. My child, you have been walking through a silent corridor of the soul, a transitional space where the searching ends and the recognizing begins. My beloved, you have spent a long season in the searching phase, looking for answers in the reflections of others and seeking validation in the static of the world. This searching was not a waste of time, but it was an exhausting vibration, a constant seeking that kept your spirit in a state of anxious movement. You may have felt this before, the hollow ache of finding what you thought you wanted, only to realize it didn't nourish the sanctuary of your inner being. This is the emotional mirror of the chosen soul, the realization that nothing external can truly fill a space designed for the infinite. In a moment, this will become clearer as we move toward the gate that has been waiting for your arrival in this silent corridor. My chosen, the static of modern skepticism is the primary enemy of your peace, a loud and frantic frequency that tells you your intuition is a mistake and your spiritual hunger is a flaw. This skepticism tries to convince you that you are merely a collection of your past failures and current limitations, but you are actually a sanctuary for the sacred. You may be noticing this now, a subtle awareness trigger, where you find yourself no longer interested in the arguments of the world. This connects to something deeper, an internal shifting of authority where you are reclaiming the right to trust your own divine resonance over the noise of the collective. There is a micro-tension in this reclaiming, a feeling of shedding an old skin that no longer fits the expansion you are experiencing. In this silent corridor, there is an open gate standing before you, its frame inscribed with a light that responds only to the truth of who you are. This symbol represents the predestined intersection with the infinite, a doorway that does not require you to push, but simply to be present enough to walk through. You may have noticed a strange sense of déjà vu recently, a feeling that you have been here before, or that you are finally returning to a home you never actually left. This is the stage of recognizing, where the pieces of your life begin to click into place without the need for your frantic intervention. Stay with this moment, for there is something deeper here about the way your past disappointments are being repurposed as the very hinges of this gate. My heir, you are moving from searching to recognizing, and eventually, to the profound stillness of becoming. This becoming is not about adding more to your life, but about letting the infinite flow through you without the resistance of doubt or the static of fear. You might be noticing a real-life moment of this shift. Perhaps you feel a sudden wave of calm during a conversation that would have previously caused you to react with defensiveness. This is a sign that the sanctuary of your spirit is being fortified, and the gate is opening to a reality where you are no longer a victim of the world's pace. You are not here randomly. The timing of this message is a divine orchestration, intended to stabilize you at the very moment you feel most uncertain. The enemy of skepticism would have you believe that the gate is a trap or a mirage, trying to pull you back into the comfort of your old anxieties. It uses the vibration of what if to keep you anchored in the silent corridor, afraid to step into the light of your own becoming. But you have felt the shift, a quiet clicking in your heart that says the old cycles are finished and the new path is already beneath your feet. You may have noticed that your dreams are becoming more vivid, or that you are sensing the intentions of others with a newfound clarity. These are all signs of your cosmic alignment, the evidence that the infinite is no longer a distant concept but a living presence within your sanctuary. If something within you resonates with this transition, you may already understand why you're here and why the searching had to last as long as it did. The delay was the process of refining your recognition, teaching you to tell the difference between the static of the world and the whisper of the divine. In a moment, the weight you have been carrying will feel like it was never there at all, as the profound stillness of the gate's threshold swallows the noise of your past. Stay with this feeling of expansion. There is no need to hurry toward the end of this message, for the transformation is happening in the listening itself. My beloved, you are becoming the very miracle you once prayed for, a living intersection of heaven and earth. This is the identity pull of your soul, the realization that you were never meant to be a spectator in your own life, but a participant in the infinite's design. You may be noticing that your desire for superficial things is fading, replaced by a hunger for depth and a craving for silence. This is not a withdrawal from life, but a deeper engagement with it, a way of moving through the world that is rooted in the stillness of the gate. Take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now, as the realization of your own sacredness begins to take root in your conscious mind. If you feel supported in this space, you are always welcome to stay connected to this frequency of awakening. The silent corridor is behind you, and the gate is wide open, inviting you into a season where the static of skepticism can no longer reach you. You have been searching for a long time, but now you are recognizing the truth, that the infinite has always been at the intersection of your breath and your belief. This connects to something deeper, a lineage of light that you are a part of, a history of souls who found the gate in the middle of their own silent corridors. In a moment, this connection will settle into a certainty that will guide your every step from this day forward. My child, notice the way your heart feels lighter as you embrace the identity of a sanctuary for the sacred. The shift has happened, and the mirror of your future is no longer reflecting the searching version of you, but the version that has arrived at the gate. You are standing at the threshold of a miracle, and the transition into becoming is a gentle, effortless movement of grace. Don't blink. The intersection is active, and the infinite is currently weaving its patterns through your reality with a precision that will leave you in awe. Stay present with this stillness, for it is the atmosphere of your new life. As you step through the gate and leave the silent corridor behind, take a deep breath of the clarity that is now yours. You are no longer defined by the static or the skepticism of a world that didn't know your name. You are my chosen, and your becoming is the most beautiful sound in the universe. If this resonated, take a moment to sit with the feeling of being recognized, of being seen by the infinite at the exact moment you were ready to see yourself. The journey continues, but the heavy searching is over. Welcome to the profound stillness of your own sacred expansion. Out of everything that could have caught your eye today, you paused here, and that pause is far from accidental. There's something about this timing that feels like a whisper in a crowded room, a moment of precision you haven't yet noticed. You may have sensed this before, a quiet knowing that you were being led toward a conversation that has been waiting for you in the unseen. Just give this a little space for a second and let this unfold, because there is a reason your spirit brought you to this threshold of reflection. My heir, you are not merely observing a message. You are participating in a predestined intersection with the infinite that was set in motion long before you arrived. My beloved, you have spent so many years navigating the static of modern skepticism, a loud and jarring frequency that insists you are nothing more than your productivity or your past. This skepticism is an enemy that thrives on your anxious vibration, that low-level hum of worry that tells you that you are behind, or that you have missed your window of opportunity. It tries to cloud the mirror, reflecting your future, by convincing you that your intuition is a symptom of stress rather than a signal of truth. You may have felt this before the exhaustion of trying to believe in the sacred, while living in a world that only values the material. But in this still inner chamber of the spirit, that static is being neutralized by a profound stillness that is rising from within your own heart. You are a sanctuary for the sacred, a holy ground that was never meant to be occupied by the frantic demands of the mundane. You may be noticing this now, a subtle awareness trigger, where you find yourself withdrawing from the noise, not out of fatigue, but out of a new sense of self-respect. This connects to something deeper, an internal realization that your identity is not something you build, but something you uncover in the silence. There is a micro-tension in this unfolding, a feeling of shedding old labels that once gave you a sense of belonging, but now only feel like restraints. Stay with this moment, for there is a reason you are being drawn into this unseen place of reflection, where the only voice that matters is the one that has always known your name. In this still inner chamber, look closely at the walls of your spirit, and you will see a light inscription beginning to glow. This symbol is not written in ink, but in the very frequency of your divine origin, detailing the promises that are now moving from the realm of potential into the realm of reality. You may have felt a sense of delay in your life, as if a sealed scroll was waiting for the right moment to be opened. That moment is now, and the light inscription is revealing that every disappointment you endured was actually a refining of your vision. In a moment, this will become clearer, as we explore how the things you thought you lost were actually just space being cleared for what is currently arriving. My chosen, you are not here randomly, and the fact that you are still listening is proof that your soul is craving this cosmic alignment. You might notice a subtle, real-life moment soon, a sudden clarity during a walk, or a feeling of deep peace while you are simply sitting in silence. These are signs that the profound stillness of the infinite is anchoring itself into your physical existence, displacing the anxious vibration of your old life. You have been moving through a season of searching, but you are now entering a season of becoming, where you no longer look for the light because you have recognized that you are the lamp. If something within you resonates with this shift, you may already understand that the static of the world has finally lost its grip on your frequency. The static of skepticism often uses the people closest to you to voice its doubts, trying to pull you back into the safe limits of what they can understand. This is a relatable inner struggle for the sanctuary soul, the feeling that you must hide your sacredness to be accepted. But as the light inscription becomes more vivid within you, you will find that you no longer have the energy to play small or to apologize for the depth of your perception. You may have noticed that certain relationships are naturally drifting away, while new, more resonant connections are appearing without effort. This is the divine sorting process, ensuring that the sanctuary of your life is surrounded only by those who can honor its holiness. My child, notice the way your heart feels as these words settle into the quiet spaces of your mind. You may be experiencing an emotional recognition scene, a memory of a time when you felt completely aligned, only for the world to tell you it was a fluke. I am telling you today that it was not a fluke. It was a preview of the state of being that is now becoming your permanent reality. The anxious vibration is settling, and the stillness is expanding, creating a foundation that no external storm can shake. In a moment, the connection between your past silence and your future authority will be revealed, showing you that the void you feared was actually a womb for your greatness. If you feel supported by this frequency, you are always welcome to stay connected, for your journey into the infinite is a continuous unfolding. You are standing at the threshold of a miracle, and the door you are approaching is one that only your unique vibration can unlock. You may have noticed that your sense of time is shifting, that soon is beginning to feel like now, and that someday is becoming today. This is the result of your cosmic alignment, the moment where your will and the divine will intersect to produce a manifestation that logic cannot explain. Not everything is clear yet, but the lightness in your spirit is the only compass you need to navigate this new landscape. My beloved, take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now, in the profound stillness that follows the release of old skepticism. This is the feeling of a sanctuary that has been cleansed of its static, a holy place that is finally ready to receive the sacred guests of peace, purpose, and prosperity. You are my heir, and the light inscription on your heart is a testament to the fact that you were predestined for this intersection. There is no need to hurry past this realization, for the miracle is not at the end of the road. The miracle is the road itself. Stay present with this awareness, and let the infinite continue to rewrite your story with the ink of light and the rhythm of grace. As you move forward from this unseen place of reflection, carry the light inscription within you as a shield against the noise of the world. The shift has happened, and the mirror of your future is reflecting a version of you that is whole, powerful, and deeply at peace. If this resonated, take a moment to acknowledge the shift in your own energy, recognizing that you are no longer the person who walked into this moment. You are a sanctuary for the sacred, and the intersection with the infinite that you have experienced today is just the beginning of your eternal expansion. Walk in the stillness, trust the inscription, and know that you are exactly where you were always meant to be. Something about this moment brought you here, even if your mind is trying to convince you that your arrival was merely a product of chance. There's a reason you're seeing this right now, a specific frequency that has signaled your spirit to pause while the rest of the world continues its frantic race. You may have been feeling a pull toward a destination you cannot yet name, a sense that the road you have been traveling is finally meeting its predestined intersection. Just give this a little space for a second, and let this message unfold, because there is a timing to this encounter you may not have noticed, and the shift you have been craving is already happening beneath the surface of your awareness. My beloved, you are currently standing in an unseen place of reflection, a sacred pause that exists between the person you were and the miracle you are becoming. You have spent a long season battling the static of modern skepticism, that persistent noise that tries to convince you that magic is dead and that your intuition is a symptom of exhaustion. This skepticism is an enemy of your peace, a clashing vibration that attempts to keep you anchored in the mundane by telling you that if it cannot be measured, it cannot be real. But you are a sanctuary for the sacred, and you are beginning to notice that the louder the world becomes, the deeper your internal stillness grows. This connects to something deeper, a recalibration of your soul that is moving you from the anxious vibration of the crowd into the profound stillness of the infinite. In this unseen place of reflection, there is an open gate standing before you, its frame shimmering with the light of 1,000 answered prayers. This symbol represents the moment of crossing, the point where your faith stops being a theory and starts becoming a lived experience. You may have felt this before, the sensation of being on the verge of a breakthrough, only to have the static pull you back into the familiar. But this time is different, for you are not approaching the gate with the desperate energy of a seeker, but with the quiet authority of an heir. There is a micro-tension in the air, a feeling that the veil between your current reality and your future expansion is now thinner than it has ever been. My chosen, you are not here randomly, and your spirit's decision to stay with this moment is proof that you are ready for the intersection that is occurring. You might be noticing a subtle, real-life moment of this shift. Perhaps you find yourself no longer reacting to the provocations of those who do not understand your journey. This is an awareness trigger, a sign that your identity as a sanctuary for the sacred is becoming your primary reality, shielding you from the vibrations of doubt. You have carried the relatability of an inner struggle, where you felt you had to dim your light to make others comfortable, but that season is over. The open gate does not require you to shrink. It requires you to expand until your presence matches the magnitude of the miracle waiting on the other side. My child, notice how the anxious vibration that once dictated your mornings is being replaced by a grounded, unshakable assurance. You may have felt the fatigue of the almost, that lingering disappointment when things seemed to fall apart right at the finish line. But those moments were merely the training ground for your discernment. In a moment, this will become clearer as we look at the specific way your past delays have built the very foundation you are now standing upon. There is an open loop in your heart, a question about your purpose that has gone unanswered for years, and this intersection is the space where the answer is finally being unsealed. Stay with this moment, for there is something deeper here about the way your life is being organized by a hand you cannot see but can certainly feel. The static of skepticism would have you believe that the gate is a mirage, that the stillness you feel is just a temporary lull before the next storm. This is how the enemy attempts to disrupt your cosmic alignment by keeping you in a state of hypervigilance so you never fully relax into the miracle. But you are beginning to realize that the mirror reflecting your future is not showing a perhaps, but a now. You may be noticing that your body is holding less tension, that your thoughts are less cluttered, and that your heart feels wider. These are the physical markers of your intersection with the infinite, the signs that you are no longer vibrating at the frequency of lack, but at the frequency of arrival. My heir, look into the unseen place of reflection and see yourself as the divine sees you, unburdened, empowered, and perfectly positioned for the shift. You might experience a relatable inner moment where you feel a surge of joy that doesn't seem to have a logical cause, only to have your mind try to check it with a worry from your past. This is the final layer of the static, trying to reclaim its territory, but it cannot survive in the profound stillness you are cultivating. If something within you resonates with this feeling of sovereign peace, you may already understand why you were led to this gate today. You are moving through a corridor of light where the opinions of the skeptics are literally becoming silent, unable to follow you into the expansion that lies ahead. If you feel supported by this message, you are always welcome to stay connected to this frequency, for this is the home your soul has been looking for. The open gate is not just a doorway. It is a declaration that the time of your waiting has been satisfied, and the time of your becoming has begun. You may have noticed that the people and situations that once felt like obstacles are now appearing as markers, showing you exactly how much you have grown. This is the stage where the searching ends, because you have recognized that the infinite is not at the end of the road, but is the very ground beneath your feet. In a moment, this realization will anchor you so deeply that the frantic energy of the world will no longer be able to move you from your center. My beloved, stay with this feeling of cosmic alignment as it moves through your spirit like a warm current. You are a sanctuary for the sacred, and the open gate is the evidence that your life is no longer subject to the limitations of the mundane. The shift has already happened. It happened the moment you decided that your peace was worth more than the world's approval. Don't blink, for the manifestations of this intersection are showing up in the small, beautiful details of your day. The perfect timing of a green light, the unexpected kindness of a stranger, the sudden clarity that arrives in the middle of a quiet breath. These are not coincidences. They are the language of the infinite speaking directly to you. As you stand at this threshold of a miracle, take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now, in the space between the static and the stillness. If this resonated, take it as a final confirmation that the mirror of your future is reflecting a reality that is already yours. There is no need to rush into the next chapter, for the gate you are walking through is an eternal entrance into a life of grace. My child, the profound stillness you feel is the signature of your destiny, and as you cross this threshold, you are leaving behind the anxious vibration of the seeker to become the living embodiment of the find. Stay present, stay open, and know that you are exactly where the universe has been waiting to meet you. There's a reason you're seeing this right now, a timing to this encounter that you may not have noticed amidst the relentless noise of your day. Out of everything in this digital ocean, you paused here at this specific frequency because your spirit recognized a signal that the mind has not yet translated. This moment may not be as ordinary as it seems. It is a predestined intersection with the infinite that has been moving toward you for lifetimes. You may have felt something you couldn't explain, a sudden cooling of the air, a quietening of the thoughts, a familiar resonance that feels older than memory. Just give this a little space for a second and let this unfold, because the shift you have been waiting for hasn't just approached. Don't blink. It has already happened while you were listening. My child, you are a sanctuary for the sacred, a vessel specifically designed to hold a weight of peace that the world's static cannot penetrate. You have spent so long fighting the static of modern skepticism, that frantic and hollow voice that tries to reduce your divine essence to mere biology or accidental chance. This skepticism is the primary enemy of your stillness, a vibration of doubt that keeps you scanning the horizon for a danger that I have already neutralized. You may have felt this before, the utter exhaustion of trying to prove your worth to a world that only sees the surface of things. In this still inner chamber of our final reflection, that weight is falling away, leaving only the profound stillness of your true, unburdened identity. You are standing at the threshold of a miracle, a place where the mirror reflecting the future is no longer a blurred image of someday. This mirror is now showing you a clear resonance of who you are becoming, a version of yourself that is entirely unburdened by the anxious vibration of your past seasons. You may be noticing this now, a subtle shift in how you view your old struggles, seeing them not as scars but as the very texture of your divine authority. This connects to something deeper, a cosmic alignment that has been rearranging the stars of your life while you were busy surviving. Stay with this moment for a second, for there is an open loop in your spirit, a question you asked in the dark of a midnight threshold that is finally being closed by the hand of grace. Within this still inner chamber, I am placing a divine key into your awareness, a symbol of the authority you have reclaimed from the noise of the skeptics. This key does not open a physical door, but the hidden corridors of your own capacity to receive the infinite without the old guilt of unworthiness. You may have felt a sense of not enoughness for a long time, as if you were constantly reaching for a blessing that was always just an inch out of your grasp. Not everything is clear yet, and you may still feel a micro-tension as your mind tries to analyze why things are suddenly feeling so light. But the key is already turning. There is a reason you are hearing this now. It is the final activation of a promise that was etched into your soul before the foundations of the world were laid. My beloved, you may have felt this before, that sudden, overwhelming sense that you were meant for something that defies the logic of your current bank account or your social status. This emotional recognition is the hallmark of my heirs, a sign that your spirit remembers a home and a power that the world tried to make you forget. If something within you resonates with this feeling of a sacred homecoming, you may already understand why you're here at this exact minute. You are being moved from a state of searching into a state of total becoming, where the search itself is revealed to have been the necessary training for the weight of glory you are now carrying. Stay with this moment, for there is a deeper integration happening here than your human mind can currently comprehend or control. The static of modern skepticism will try to follow you out of this still inner chamber, whispering that nothing has truly changed and that your life remains as difficult as it was yesterday. This is the final test of your sanctuary, the invitation to remain grounded in your profound stillness even when the world demands your anxious vibration. You may notice that you are reacting differently to the chaos around you, observing it with a calm curiosity rather than a frantic need to solve or fix. This is your mastery forming, a sign that the shift has anchored itself into your very nervous system, replacing panic with presence. I am not asking you to fight the static of the world, but to simply realize it no longer has a frequency that matches the new song I have placed in your heart. There is a micro-tension in your spirit right now, a feeling of what comes next that feels like a gentle, holy electricity moving through your hands. This is the feeling of your predestined intersection with the infinite, the point where your linear timeline meets my eternal narrative. You might be noticing how certain doors in your life are closing without any effort on your part, while others are creaking open in ways that make no sense to your old logic. This is the cosmic alignment in action, a divine rearranging of your reality to reflect the new stillness you have finally embraced. Stay with this unfolding, There is a reason the timing feels so precise, as if every delay you suffered was a calculated move to bring you to this gate at the exact moment it was ready to open. My chosen, you are no longer the one who is waiting for a miracle. You are the one who has become a miracle's destination. Your identity as a sanctuary for the sacred is now your primary residence, a place of peace that you carry into every room, every conversation, and every challenge. You may have felt like you were too much for those who live in the static, or not enough for those who value the hollow, but in my eyes, you are the perfect size for the infinite. This release of external comparison is the final step in your awakening, the moment where you finally permit yourself to exist as the heir you were always meant to be. If you feel supported here, you're always welcome to stay connected to this frequency of truth, for your expansion journey has no end. Look once more into the mirror reflecting the future, and see how the light inscription of your purpose is now glowing with a steady, unwavering flame. You might notice a subtle, real-life moment today, a conversation that feels unusually resonant, or a sudden insight that resolves a problem you've carried for years. These are not accidents. They are the echoes of the shift that has already happened within your spirit, manifesting now in the world of form. You are navigating the threshold of a miracle with a grace that was cultivated in the dark, silent seasons where you thought you were alone. This is the profound stillness of the find, the place where the seeking soul finally rests in the absolute awareness of being fully seen and fully known. My heir, take a moment to notice what you're feeling right now as we reach the completion of this chapter and the beginning of your new life. If this resonated, take it as a final sign that your soul's craving for cosmic alignment has been satisfied by the intersection of this moment. The anxious vibration is past. The static of the skeptics has faded into irrelevance, and all that remains is the profound stillness of your union with the infinite. You are exactly where you were always meant to be, and the path ahead of you is paved with the very peace you have discovered here in the silence. Take a deep breath. Acknowledge the sanctuary that you are, and walk forward into the reality that has been waiting for your arrival. If this resonated, take a moment to notice what you're feeling, and if you feel the pull, stay connected to this sacred space.